What's up, guys? Back again with another review of the KZ ZSA. Is that looking good? Yeah, I think so. So I've gotten a couple of KZs recently. The two most recent that I've obtained have been the ZSA and the ES4. And the one thing that these guys have in common, they don't sound entirely alike, but they do have something in common in that I really like them both. And that is surprising because the last little while I haven't really liked the KZs that I've purchased. I wasn't super impressed with the ES3. Personally, I didn't like the ZSR that much, although it did get some good reviews. I had some issues with it. And going as far back as the ZS5 V1, I haven't really been super impressed with anything. So these two guys have really impressed me. I did a separate review of the ES4, so if you want to check that out, check it out on the channel. So this is the ZSA, and like right off the bat, take a look at that. I mean, this thing is tiny. Not as tiny as I'm able to sort of show you here between the two of these guys, but take a look at it in comparison. I have the ZS6 here, and it is sort of noticeably smaller, and it does feel smaller in your ear. It's really kind of impressive in that sense, and it doesn't diminish the sound in any way. It still sounds quite big. And I did go through a few songs as I normally do. Let's take a look at my song list really quickly. There's one that's missing from here. I did start with Pink Floyd's On the Run. And the thing I noticed about that is this guy's got really good left to right panning. I am hearing behind my head, and it is going from left to right really smoothly, and there is some good extension on either side. So it is a out of ear peripheral sort of sound. The sound stage is quite wide in that sense. And it's got great presence without being sibilant at all. So the lower treble tuning to my ears is pretty excellent on this guy. It's not quite as thick of a vocal presence, but it's fairly organic nevertheless, so it is kind of middle of the pack. So it doesn't have as thick a vocal presence, and it's not quite as maybe musical sounding as the ES4, but I do think that on a technical level it does maybe set for a better stage. It does have a little bit more brilliance in the treble, so it's a good performer soundstage wise, particularly at this price point at under $15 on sale USD, and you can't discount the amazing fit. So take a look at that. Does fit really well. It is tiny in your ear. It's not going to protrude out or anything like that. And it's a nice design. This is kind of an extension of what they did with the ZX6, which was a full-on body of the Andromeda, the Campfire Audio Andromeda. Pretty much the exact same thing. This is sort of different enough that there wouldn't be any copyright infringements if there is such a thing, and I don't think there is when it comes to the audio world. But I don't know. I mean, to me, it fits a little bit better. And does it look as nice? Well, I don't know. The squared edges are kind of sleek. Looks different. Looks good, though. I like it. Actually, closer to neutral. Maybe vocals are about one step back from the front of the stage. And man, the bass on these things, I mean, you wouldn't know by looking at it, but this thing kicks. I mean, it's got serious bass extension. Maybe rivals something like the ZS6, but maybe doesn't have quite the control. Although it does have surprisingly good control at this price point. And the weird thing is that I found with it anyways, I didn't take a look at the ohms, but it doesn't, to me, sound as sensitive as I would have thought, and it may require a bit more volume than average. So for example, what was this song, Villains of Circumstance by Queens of the Stone Age? For some reason this album is not it's kind of quiet. It's not recorded that loud, and particularly this song gets quiet and then gets louder in certain sections, and it's pretty technical in certain sections too, so it's really But I did find that I could have these guys on full blast coming from the Sony. And that's not saying a ton because this is only 35 ohms, this guy. However, it still is saying something because it is more powerful than your typical phone, I would say. So that was kind of interesting and maybe noteworthy. I didn't try them with an amp. However, they'd probably, based on this, respond fairly well to an amp. I did find another thing that's kind of weird is the vocals were slightly inconsistent for me. Now, how do I get back to my crap? Anyways, for example, I was playing Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles, and that's Lennon on lead vocals on that song. And I did find his vocals on Strawberry Fields didn't have a ton of weight to them. So that is kind of one weakness. I did find the vocals a little bit inconsistent on both male and female tracks. But I would still put it at average for this price range, but not quite as maybe potentially, I hate using the word musical, but it's sort of a decent description that people can understand. Not quite as musical as the ES4 when it comes to vocals. The vocals have a little bit more weight on this guy, but again, this guy has a bit more soundstage because of that brilliance and stuff like that, and the treble tuning. So that is the the ZSA that I think has a bit more soundstage. Anyways, but the funny thing was, I was playing a DSD of Michael Jackson's Thriller, the song "Human Nature." I mean, it sounds brilliant. Then again, it's a DSD, so there is that. But it did have the right vocal weight, and it had perfect shimmer and soundstage with this guy. So I was really impressed with that. I would say overall for $20 or under USD, probably under in most cases, probably under 15 in a lot of cases. This guy is a tremendous performer, and I couldn't recommend both of these more. I mean, they have really, really impressed me. KZ, in my opinion, is back again with two really, really quality products at a very, very, very good price. So I'm really impressed with them. And the ZSA, I'm almost as impressed with it as I was the ES4. I haven't done a direct comparison between the two. I was playing the ES4 at the gym today, so I kind of had it ringing in my mind how it plays. And then I came home and listened to this for about an hour or so, flipping through various different tracks. And I have been listening. This has been in regular rotation as well. So I do like them almost equally, but again, this guy a little bit stronger in the soundstage area and potentially a little bit more bass extension, actually more bass extension just flat out. But maybe not quite as musical and maybe not quite as good with vocals as the ES4, in my opinion. I have heard people, this is the one that's going to appeal to people that are not interested in any sibilants but do want more treble extension. I guess the one knock against the ES4, according to our notorious HeadFi thread, is people are saying, well, it doesn't extend well in the treble region. But to me, it's I lean more towards, I'm a guy that likes a musical sound, and I don't care about a bit of a recession in the treble area. That's okay with me, as long as there's some pop in the mid range, and there's good weight to the vocals. To me, that's slightly more important than the treble. But everyone's different, so take that into effect, and that's it, man. Quick shout out to everyone that subscribes to the channel. I'm really appreciative of that, and I do appreciate all the thumbs up. That does help other people find the channel, so if you do that for me, then that is a huge help. And thanks a lot for listening. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. It's one man's opinion only, but this is my opinion on these guys for now. So thanks for watching, and talk to you soon. I'll upload a new video, probably do a comparison between these guys and a few other models. I'm not sure what I'm going to compare yet, but maybe a price range thing. Not sure, but stay tuned, and cheers.